Okay, this is the power of His voice. This is part 2 from the one that was before this. Hello, my name is Sean, and welcome to the Free Life. I'm going to talk about today the power of His voice. So last time we talked about the power of our voice, and I had mentioned how that when we speak, we can speak life or death, and that if we're going to speak life, we really have to have a different source. So today I really want to talk about what that source is and how we actually speak from a source all the time. So consider this. If when I speak, I can speak life or death, I know how to speak death very easily. I've been doing that most of my life. Not everybody, though, knows how to speak life. And what's the difference? How can we learn how to tap into life and let that be the source that we're able to actually transfer? And so this is how I want you to kind of grasp this. See, one of the things that's about this site is we believe that we are designed to hear God speak to us. And that might be a little funny thought for some people, right? But what if it's true? What if God is not up there telling us how messed up we are, what we need to do to make Him happy? You know, that we need to perform these things just so that He'll be happy with us, and I'll let you come into and have a relationship with me as God. I'll let you worship me. What if that's not at all? What if the relationship He wants with us is like a son, is like a husband to a wife, a father to a child? What if that relationship is one that's supposed to be, He's speaking into us, He's building us, He's loving us, He's connecting to us, He wants us, He desires us. And that was the whole point of why Jesus died on the cross, was to get us back connected to Him. So when He speaks to us, you know what He's really speaking? He's speaking life into us. See, because His words are creative. They're not just words of information, they're words of revelation. They're words that are truth. They're words that create life where death is. If you think of Genesis, when God spoke, things were created. Well, when He speaks to me and He says, you know what? Peace, peace, peace. Just relax. I can actually feel that. When He tells me, I love you. I've always loved you. I've been trying to bring you to me. I love you so dearly. Do you know we can feel that? And so every time He's talking to us, He's trying to build us up. He's trying to give us life. And we receive that life when we accept what He's saying, believe what He's saying, agree with what He's saying. And so that's how I receive life from God. So now consider this. We are made in the image of God. Now, honestly, God does not look like this. If we get up there and I see this, I'm going to be shocked. Okay? So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying this image. I'm saying that there's a likeness in us to God. So we have a likeness to Him. Have you ever thought maybe part of that likeness is that we have the power to create also? Not in the same way God does, but in a likeness of that. That I can actually create or I can kill. I can bring life or I can bring death. See, I can create an idea. By speaking something, I can actually create an idea in somebody's thinking. I can seed it and it blossoms. Now, honestly, I'm not into that, okay? And I'm not promoting that, so please don't. You think about the wrong way. But I do want you to realize, what if I'm actually, the life I'm receiving, I can actually give that away? What if that, yesterday I talked about how me and my wife fought when we were younger, and there was times I would just say mean things. And I would see it killing on her, just killing something inside of her. But see, you know what I do now? When something's a little tight, something's struggling, instead of going into the fight mode, what if I go into listening mode? What if God's really interested in talking to me about the situation, and I listen to what he's saying, and he's telling me how much he loves her, and he's telling me how much she really wants something different to be operating in her life. And that the thing I'm seeing, the thing I'm receiving, that I'm like, why is she doing that? See, God's not telling me how bad she is. God's telling me that she needs something. And if I can love on her differently, maybe she'll see differently. Maybe she'll realize that thing needs to happen from God. Okay? See, that's how he talks to us. So now when I go and talk to my wife, I love on her, even though before I would have fought. See, now I'm differently because I'm receiving differently, right? So I'm operating differently. I receive and I give. You know what happens? We don't fight. She starts receiving life. She connects into God. And the words that I speak are now not just coming from me, they're also coming from God, because I've agreed with what he's saying, and it brings real life into the situation. Because there's a level I can do. I can do some things on my own. I mean, you can use psychology and you can use basic principles and speaking good words and kind words, and that's cool. And I would suggest doing that in the absence of hearing God specifically. Make it a point to always speak things that are life to people, that are good, that are kind, that are gentle. Okay? I recommend that. But when we start hearing, and from a place of hearing, now it's just not words that are good and kind and gentle. It's words that are life, that can be truth, that can make things healed inside of the human soul, because they don't originate with us, they originate with him. The power of life and death comes in communication from God to us. The power of life and death comes in communication from us to the ones we love, from us to the ones we care about, from us to the ones that we interact with throughout our day. Our world can change. My world has changed. Your world can change. And it's not that hard. God loves you so much, he's wanting to communicate with you. Just listen. Listen to what he's saying. And you know how you know it's from him? There's no condemnation. There's no fear. There's no anxiety. There's no shame. All of this stuff that's negative, that's coming from the enemy. And when I agree with that voice, it brings death in me. When I agree in that voice, with that voice for somebody else's life, it brings death in them. But when I agree with what God's saying, and I find that place of peace, I find that place where there's joy, I find that place where it's like, where it's life. It heals what's going on inside of me, and it heals other people's lives when I share what God is talking to me about. You know, Jesus said, I only do what I see my Father do, and I only say what I hear him say. And we can do the same thing. We can move to a place where I'm doing the things I see my Father saying, these are the things we do. He gives me vision for that. And saying the things that I hear him say. And asking him, God, what's going on? How can I love this person? How do you see this person? What's the situation that you want to show me? And from there, operating in it. It completely changes everything. So consider this. Ask God to show you. Ask God for understanding. He wants to give us this stuff. And you can have it. I hope your day is just so amazingly blessed. And may peace and revelation come to you.